And welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to give you another movie review. This time around, we're going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Welcome to Freddy's. Have you met them yet?
Met who?
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy. Back in the 80s. Some kids went missing.
What is this?
That's why the place shut down. The police searched Freddy's. Hey! They never found the kids.
So Five Nights at Freddy's was originally a video game franchise created by Scott Cawthon and became this crazy phenomenon that's been going on for like nearly, oh my god, it's almost coming up to 10 years. And it's popular within its horror genre community and has, like, at this point it's like over like nearly like almost 10 games, thousands of fan games as well. It's a very popular franchise of this pizzeria with animatronics, and it's been a long time coming for a movie franchise to come about. It's been in the works for a while. It just had, due to all these things with the pandemic and the likes, and then just production companies picking it up here and there and dropping it. It was kind of in this weird standstill, but it was in the making, and I think if I remember right, it was like originally announced back in like 2015, so it's been a while that this has been in production, and then after some time it finally came to fruition thanks to some of the production company with Blumhouse Productions. I really enjoy that production company when it comes to producing these kind of, I personally would consider them like almost B-rated horror films. Like they have some good films, I'm not gonna deny that, but when it comes to Blumhouse films, I'm like, I have an idea what I'm getting myself into. More than likely I will be pleased with what I get, and then mixing that in with a franchise that I have some level of understanding to it. Like, trust me, the storyline for Five Nights at Freddy is way convoluted due to everything that's happening. So how well did they adapt it? That's the real question. And how was the casting in all this? So for the most part, they, as far as for the general audience, contextually, we have our main character of Mike, who is played by Josh Hutcherson. I haven't seen him in a while, so it was good to see him back on the stage, or on the big screen, I mean, taking full center stage here, and just kind of seeing him. I don't know, he's probably doing some stuff, but I personally have not seen him. But he did a good role as Mike, as the older brother to Abby, played by Piper Rubio. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm really bad with last names. As the little sister, these two who are kind of trying to make do with kind of the situation they do. Mike gets into an incident where he loses his job and needs to find another job, and the only other job he's able to acquire is a security guard, or a night security guard specifically, at an abandoned pizzeria known as Five Nights at Freddy's, or Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. And then some wild stuff happens, some weird things, and in the trailers it's not really like a spoiler. The trailers showcase, and if you have some semblance of the franchise, the spirits of dead children are possessing the animatronic robots of Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy, and the cupcake apparently. And you get this interesting thing. The animatronics they did were really good. They were created by the Jim Henson Company, like the people who kind of make like like the Muppets in Sesame Street costumes, like those things. That so they were well produced. So yeah, they looked really like eerie and some lightings a little off-putting sometimes here and there, but they had their moments. The plot itself of Mike kind of trying to basically kind of survive, figure out kind of what the heck is happening in this pizzeria, and kind of dealing with his own trauma. And yeah, there's a lot that's happening in this film. It's like just shy of 2 hours. That's the other thing. And I felt the pacing of the film was not off, but at times it just kind of lingered a little too long here and there. Some of the fun Easter eggs for kind of the more for some of the more people who are in the community of Five Nights at Freddy's. There were a lot of fun cameos. There were a lot of fun references here and there, which were like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Ooh, I know who that is. Oh, I know where that's from. So there were some fun nods here and there, and that was kind of cool. But you can't just make a film based off that alone when the whole film is the kind of the nod, right? So I personally felt that the cast did a fairly good job, though we knew who the antagonist was as far as kind of the people of the Five Nights at Freddy community. As a general audience, you can kind of pick it up pretty like early on. If you're pretty intuitive, I'm not gonna lie, the cast is not that large, so you kind of can figure it out here and there, which is like fine. It's like I was not looking for like a whodunit, right? It was just supposed to be a horror animatronic horror movie. There are a few little jump scares because it's kind of that's what the ploy of Five Nights at Freddy's is, some jump scares. I think at most this one kind of lingered in more of the definitely on more of the childish horror side, which is it kind of derived from there with a splash of what I would consider adult horror. Definitely definitely there was some like scenes where like, holy shit. Oh god, that's bad. Whoa. But it was, for an adaptation for this film, I would say they did a fairly good job, and with kind of the direction they chose to take with it, and the way they kind of did this version of the story, and kind of how they handled not only Mike's character, Abby's character, and kind of how they were trying to portray the story of Mike trying to basically handle the situation with his sister having this night job where there are like animatronics trying to kill him, and with there's a couple interesting turns in this film that are like, whoa, I did not foresee that. That is okay. Where is this going? And that one threw me off a little bit. Definitely the soundscape, the audio, and the soundtrack they used. It's like very 80s themed because it's it's the pizzeria closed back down in the 80s. So I'm like, okay, I see where you're going. So there's some fun music there, and I enjoyed them. The score for it, there is some. I think if I remember right, there's like 3 like remix theme scores from the game. You can kind of hear, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head, that I kind of picked up. It might have been 2 that, and one just kind of looped over, but I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that. But yeah, it is not the scariest film out there. It's a little jumpy, nothing too bad. And the plot itself is for the most part, okay. That's what I'll say. I think it's because I have a general understanding of the franchise and kind of where it was leading up to. I'm like, okay. But I think seeing it in the big screen really just elevated that, and for a general audience individual who has only seen like the plushies or heard of it are gonna be like, oh wow, what the heck what the heck are my kids playing? And I think that's another layer of horror because of what some of the things that the franchise has done. Like, whoa, okay. I think that's, for the most part, I would say this film, for the most part, if you a general, like, if you're an actual like fan of the franchise of Five Nights at Freddy's, I would recommend at least catching this film at least once in theaters. Like, it deserves that. Yeah, it's worth a big picture watch. But you know, if you're a general audience and you know, maybe, but it is also playing on Peacock, is to my understanding. So you don't have to leave home. You can just popcorn flip it at home. This is not sponsored. I decided to go out, catch it an early showing before some of the kids showed up. There were a few kids skipping school with their parents. No doubt there. And I personally enjoyed the film, and enjoyed what they did with it. Like I said, just kind of some quick points. Costumes were great for the animatronics. The casting was great. I didn't feel anything was off for the most part. Josh, I think, if I remember his name, yeah, Josh did a really good job playing Mike. There's only a very few times that it just felt a little bit out of character, but I think it's just how they wrote his character a little bit towards the mid act of the film. It just kind of felt a little awkward, but nothing to say. Piper as Abby did a fine job. Child actors are hit or miss depending on how well it's written and how well the kid acts, and I think she did a good job. I really enjoyed her performance and how she kind of interacted and all the situations she was put in. Like, okay, this is scary. Okay, and yeah, kind of that's it. Without kind of going into spoilers into this film, like I said, there are a few little twists that I didn't foresee coming. Some scenes that were like, whoa, okay. And without spoiling any of the cameos or Easter eggs, there were a couple in there that were like, okay, I like that. That's awesome. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify. If you're listening to this on any podcast platform, just follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, X, or formerly known as wait, I did say Twitter. Oh my god, that's a whole nother can of worms right there. But yeah, let me know down below. So thanks again for listening. Until next time, see ya.